Ever get that feeling like you're ready for like a huge change?
Right.
A total transformation. But the way to get there, well, it's a little bit outside the box.
Interesting.
We're diving into this idea of like disappearing to transform,
Okay.
which kind of sounds a little counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, especially in today's world where everything is so, share, share, share.
Right. Like always on, always connected.
hmm
But this isn't about literally vanishing, of course.
Gotcha.
More like strategically laying low, putting in that work behind the scenes,
Okay, I like that.
and then kind of like re-emerging as a totally upgraded 2.0 version of yourself.
A bit like a software update, but for your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting is how much this whole approach emphasizes secrecy.
Oh, yeah, that's fascinating. We're just so
Totally.
used to sharing everything, every little step of our journey.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Seeking that validation, the likes, the comments, the whole 9 yards.
Like we're constantly looking for external approval, right?
Exactly. But this approach flips the script,
Yeah.
turns it all inward.
Makes you think, doesn't it? About where our focus really should be.
Right. And the source material we're looking at today is pretty clear. Step one is, we'll zip it.
Huh. I love that. Straight to the point.
Totally. Control what you share. Be super selective about who you let in on your plans.
Yeah. Limit those external influences. Guard your energy, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
The source even says, like, maybe your partner, if they're, like, 100% supportive.
Yeah, someone who's totally in your corner.
But that's probably it. Think about it. All that energy we waste worrying about what other people think.
It's exhausting, isn't it? Always second-guessing ourselves.
Totally. Seeking their approval, getting sidetracked by their doubt.
It's like we're giving away our power little by little.
Disappearing, though. I feel like you're cutting through all that
And
noise.
claiming your narrative, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making this transformation about your own internal drive, not external expectations.
Putting yourself back in the driver's seat.
But, what about those situations where people just inevitably ask, so what are you up to these days?
Ah, yes. The dreaded small talk question.
The source has this great tip for that, though. You just say, oh, I'm working on a few things.
Nice. Vague, a little mysterious, keeps the focus on you.
Exactly. And that shift in focus, it's crucial. It's about, like, rewiring your brain to value your own opinion above everyone else's.
So becoming your own source of validation, essentially.
Totally. The source even suggests, like, creating a mental image of yourself that you really deeply respect.
That's interesting.
And using that image as a guide for your actions. Like, would this version of myself do this?
Ah, I see. So you're constantly checking in with your ideal self.
Exactly. And that way, instead of seeking approval from others, you become your own toughest critic.
You set the bar higher for yourself.
Exactly. You're not looking for external validation anymore. You're driven by internal satisfaction.
So it sets the stage for that next phase,
Yeah.
right? Working in the shadows.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
The real transformation zone.
But it's also where the temptation to spill the beans, to like share all those juicy details, can be the strongest.
Oh, for sure. It's so tempting to want to show off our progress, get that little pat on the back. But this approach, it's like a test of our willpower.
Totally. We're practically wired to want to show off, right? Get those likes.
Exactly. But this approach says, hey, resist that urge. Keep those goals under wraps.
Protect your energy. Avoid premature judgment.
Like shielding your precious little seedling from the harsh elements.
Exactly. And you know what? The source we're looking at puts it pretty bluntly. It says every time you reveal even a tiny bit of your plan, you're basically weakening your chances of success.
Wow. High stakes.
Right. So why resist that temptation to show off? Well, it's about channeling your energy inward, staying focused on your own growth, not getting sidetracked by other people's opinions or expectations.
So creating a bubble of focus around yourself, no distractions.
Exactly. It's about finding satisfaction in those private victories. Yeah.
Those little moments of like, yes, I did it.
Exactly. Those little wins that fuel your fire and keep you moving forward.
Without needing a cheering section.
Right. You start to cultivate that quiet confidence. It's about trusting the process, believing in yourself, and not needing anyone else to validate your worth.
But let's be real. Every journey has its bumps, right? Its challenges. So how does this whole disappearing approach handle the inevitable struggles?
Well, the source uses this pretty vivid image. It says you're going to bleed, sweat, and cry in the shadows.
Oh, wow. So no escaping the pain.
Nope. The point is, you do it alone. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and let those challenges fuel you.
There's a real emphasis on resilience and self-sufficiency there, isn't there?
Totally. It's about recognizing that struggles are a part of the process. not a sign of weakness.
And facing them head on without seeking comfort or validation from others builds incredible inner strength.
It's like you're forging this inner resilience, this grit that comes from overcoming obstacles on your own.
And that grit sets the stage for the final phase of this whole process, reappearing transformed.
But before we get to that, like, big reveal, the reemergence,
Right.
let's talk about what you're actually doing during that time in the shadows.
Okay, yeah. The nitty-gritty.
The source outlines these 3 key actions that are, like, crucial for this whole transformation thing.
Right.
Setting clear targets,
Okay.
structuring your life around those goals,
Gotcha.
and, this is the big one, reprogramming your mind.
Whoa, okay. That sounds
But
intense.
this feels like the most challenging part, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's all internal, right? Like changing your mindset. That's deep.
Totally. So let's unpack these a bit, starting with setting clear targets.
All right, let's do it.
What does that even look like in the context of, like, disappearing to transform?
Right. Good question.
It's about getting laser focused on what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
We're not talking about just, like, vague aspirations here,
Okay, I see.
but concrete, measurable goals.
So like real specifics.
Totally. You want to, I don't know, get in incredible shape. Define what that means for you.
Right.
Like, specific strength targets,
Right.
body composition goals.
Yeah. So you're not just like, I want to be fitter. It's like, I want to be able to bench press this much.
Exactly. Or run a mile in this time, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Building a business, same thing.
Gotcha.
Outline revenue targets, customer acquisition strategies, the nitty-gritty details.
No room for wishy-washy thinking.
Right. And the source, it really emphasizes writing these goals down, like physically writing them,
Oh, interesting.
keeping them visible to yourself, of course, not the world.
Right. Your own personal vision board.
It's like creating a roadmap for your transformation, right?
Yeah.
Something you can refer back to as you're navigating those, those shadowy stretches of your journey.
Okay. I like that. So you don't lose sight of where you're heading.
Exactly. It's a way to anchor yourself to your vision. Remind yourself of what you're working towards, especially when, those doubts creep in.
Which they inevitably do, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, so we've set our sights on those targets. And now comes, action number 2, structuring your life around those goals.
Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road.
This is where things get real,
Yeah.
where you start aligning your daily actions with your ultimate aspirations.
So like walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. It's about making these deliberate choices that support your transformation. Moving closer to the gym if fitness is your goal. Enrolling in those courses to develop, whatever skills you need.
Oh, yeah, investing in yourself.
Totally. Even like time boxing your days to prioritize those activities that are moving you toward your targets.
Becoming really intentional with your time.
Exactly. You're making those goals the epicenter of your life,
I like that.
letting them drive your decisions, shape your routine.
So everything you do becomes aligned with that vision.
Totally. And what I love about this source is it reminds you to be flexible too.
Oh, that's important.
It encourages you to dedicate some time each week to track your progress, refine your plans, make adjustments as you go.
Course correction.
Exactly. It's about staying accountable to yourself, making sure you're constantly moving in the right direction. Okay, so we've set those targets. We've restructured our lives to support them. And now we come to the mental game.
The big one.
Reprogramming our mind.
This is where it gets deep.
The source talks about this need to fall in love with the process itself.
What? Really? Even the hard parts.
Especially the hard parts. Embrace the pain, the solitude, the grind.
Oh, wow.
It's about reframing those challenges, right? Not as obstacles, but as essential ingredients in your transformation.
Turning those roadblocks into stepping stones.
Exactly. Because let's be honest, no journey is all sunshine and rainbows. There are going to be setbacks.
Yeah, for sure.
Moments of doubt.
Definitely.
Times when you want to just throw in the towel.
I've been there.
But it's about shifting your mindset.
Yeah.
Seeing those obstacles as opportunities for growth,
Like fuel for the fire.
Exactly. And here's where that whole concept of disappearing becomes so powerful.
Okay, how so?
By removing yourself from that constant noise and distraction of, the outside world,
Right.
you create this space to cultivate a deeper connection with yourself,
I liked it.
to tap into that inner strength and resilience.
So you're not swayed by external opinions or pressures.
Exactly. It's like you're building a sanctuary for your own growth,
Your own personal training ground.
a space where you can experiment, fail, learn, and ultimately triumph, all on your own terms.
I love that. And you know what's so fascinating? The source suggests that over time, as you immerse yourself in this process, something amazing happens.
Okay, what's that?
You start to actually find joy in the work itself.
Wow.
That struggle becomes less of a burden and more of a source of fulfillment.
So it's not just about enduring the tough stuff anymore. You actually start to enjoy it.
Yeah, like you find this flow state in the challenge itself.
That's incredible. It's like you discover this wellspring of motivation within yourself, a
Yeah.
sense of purpose that doesn't rely on external rewards or recognition.
You're doing it for you, and that's incredibly powerful.
You said it. Which leads us to the most intriguing part of this whole journey, the reappearance.
Right.
What happens when you've put in that work,
Mm-hmm.
transformed yourself in the shadows,
Right.
and you're ready to step back into the world? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. What does that reentry look like?
Well, here's where the source throws us a bit of a curveball.
Mm.
It suggests that when you've truly mastered this whole process, the whole idea of reappearing won't matter as much anymore.
Wait, really? All this talk about disappearing, transforming, and then bam, revealing the new you.
It's not about that grand finale at all.
Exactly.
It suggests that by that point, you'll have become so aligned with your new life,
Oh, okay.
so internally fulfilled, that the world's recognition will feel almost unnecessary.
Wow, that's profound. It's like the transformation itself becomes the reward, not the validation that comes with it.
Totally. You'll have achieved this state of, like, quiet excellence, where your actions speak louder than words.
You're not shouting from the rooftops. You're just living it.
Exactly. You become like this bit of a mystery,
I like that.
someone who's constantly evolving in silence, letting success speak for itself.
That's a powerful image. Not about the, like boisterous self-promotion,
Right.
but quiet, consistent growth and achievement.
And it all started with that decision to disappear, to step away from the noise and the distractions and commit to that journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, to really go inward.
So what does this all mean for, like, the listener who's considering their own transformation?
Good question.
I think it means recognizing that real change comes from within.
Yeah, like it's an inside job.
It's about cultivating that self-awareness, identifying those areas where you crave growth,
Okay.
and having the courage to step away, metaphorically.
Right.
Create that space you need to really evolve.
To become that next version of yourself.
It's about silencing the noise of the world, tuning into your own inner voice, and trusting your intuition.
And embracing the challenges, too.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
The struggles, knowing those are the crucibles where real growth is forged.
Where you get stronger.
And it's about letting go of that need for constant validation. Find satisfaction in those private victories, those moments of self-mastery that are just for you.
Your own personal triumph.
Become your own biggest fan, your toughest critic, your guiding light.
Yeah, love that.
Cultivate that quiet excellence, that inner strength that radiates outwards, not through bragging,
Right.
but through, like, the force of your actions and what you accomplish.
Letting your results speak for themselves.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. What aspects of your life could benefit from a little disappearing? What goals have you been putting off? Maybe out of fear of judgment or just feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, what dreams are you letting gather dust?
What if you gave yourself permission to step away from the spotlight, to work in the shadows? Knowing that true transformation often happens in the quietest of places.
In those hidden spaces where the real magic happens.
It's not about seeking external validation, but achieving that level of self-mastery that transcends what other people think.
It's about rising above the noise.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself for yourself.
That's the ultimate goal.
And who knows, maybe when you emerge from those shadows, transformed and radiating that quiet excellence,
Yeah.
the world won't even recognize you. And that's okay,
Yeah.
because by then you won't need them to.
You'll have found something much more valuable.
You'll have discovered the greatest reward of all, the satisfaction of knowing you did it your way, on your own terms, in the silence of your own dedication and effort.
Powerful stuff.
Go forth and disappear. But more importantly, go forth and transform.